Johnson?
Here.
Councilmember Strand?
She's excused if she's not.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Wilson?
Here.
City Manager Knopf?
Here.
Chief of Police Connor? Finance Director Dillingham?
Here.
Community Development Director Caldwell? Water Roadways Superintendent Jensen?
Here.
Wastewater Superintendent Taylor?
Here.
And City Clerk Dunn is present. Thank you.
Thank you. Pledge allegiance. You see my flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public presentations. This is the time for persons who wish to address the council on any matter not on this agenda and over which the council has jurisdiction. As such, a dialogue with the council or staff is not intended. Items requiring council actions not listed on this agenda may be placed on the next regular agenda for the consideration if the council directs, unless a finding is made by at least 2/3 of the council that the item came up after the agenda was posted and is of an urgency nature requiring immediate action. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. Do we have any hands raised or emails?
Currently, there are no hands raised.
And there are no emails.
Thank you. And we will move on to the consent calendar. Would any council member wish to remove an item from the consent calendar? Hearing none. Is there a motion, or is anyone from the public wish to remove an item from the consent calendar? Hands
There are
raised.
no hands raised.
Thank you. Then is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So made by Johnson.
We have a motion. Is there a second? I will second it. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Woodall?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Strand? Oh, sorry, she's not there. Councilmember Wilson?
Yes.
And Mayor Garnes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to reports and staff communications, page 30 in the agenda, in your packet.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes, members of the council. Just a couple notes. We did receive word from the High Rock Conservation Camp that they plan to begin depopulation of the facility immediately, which means that they're not going to be available in the future for various city projects. The council may recall we occasionally, periodically use High Rock to do weed abatement type projects and that sort of work. We are investigating, trying to create a relationship with the Eel River crew down in Redway to fill that gap. But that process for the crew has been actually quite helpful in a number of city projects. They come at relatively low cost and have, for the city, performed very well and done a lot of great work for the city in terms of cleaning up some of the areas of responsibility for the city in various right-of-ways, drainages, and whatnot. So that was a little disappointing, but I guess good news in that the facility, I guess there are less inmates to house there. So staff is working with GHD on additional grant opportunities for pre-disaster mitigation funding, including the Redwood tank up at the Douglas tank area. Fire hydrants, upgrading of fire hydrants, realignment of the water line between Metropolitan and the city's main distribution grid, as well as power resilience at wastewater lift stations. So these are all projects that we've been working on through the Prop 1 water grant. However, the financing available to do some of these projects is limited, and so the disaster mitigation funding provides a good opportunity to get some of these projects done if we're awarded funding. So that's great news. And then also the city has been conducting COVID-19 surveillance testing at our wastewater treatment facility. So essentially at the intake of the plant, a sample is, a device is placed at the intake, and it measures the amount of COVID-19 genomes detected in the wastewater supplies to the plant. And that data will be collected through December of this year. I did attach the current reports that we have, 3 of them, which the first one came up detect at a relatively low level. The last 2 have been non-detect. However, that should not, come as a indication that there's no COVID-19 in the city of Rio Dell. There's multiple metrics that the public health department uses to gauge that level, and we're expecting to have some updates over the next week or 2 in terms of our testing and in terms of Rio Dell's numbers from the health department. So we have been forwarding all of that information on to the public health department and working with them to interpret the data. So all of that is attached to the report for the council's perusal. And certainly Derek Taylor is also on the line to answer any other additional questions on the testing. And with that, I'll go ahead and return it to the council and see if there's any other questions or questions for staff.
Thank you. I will start with Mayor Pro Tem. Do you have questions for staff?
Yes, one for the city manager. Can you give us an update on the community service officer?
Yeah, so, and actually, maybe is Jeff on the line? Okay, so basically we have a start date identified, and so we're hoping to have the position enrolled here shortly.
Is the start date fairly soon?
I believe so, yeah, before the end of the month.
Okay, thank you. And Jeff's not on, so that was my other question. So I'm done.
Thank you. Councilmember Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor Garnes. I wanted to shout out a big thank you to Sergeant Bouchain and Chief Connors for their diligent work in the murder trial of Johnny Mac Renfro, who was murdered in the city about 16 months ago, and the conviction for first-degree murder of Demetrius Coleman. A bad guy is going to get sent away for the rest of his natural life, it sounds like, and our police shined extremely well in that trial, and they deserve more than just a thank you from one council member, but I guess that'll be a start. Thank you, Mayor Garnes.
Thank you. And I think we would all agree. I also would thank them as well. I think as a council, we will be doing that. Councilmember Wilson?
Yes, I can concur with Councilmember Johnson on congratulating our police department, and I've always felt that that's one of the main reasons that remain a city is for the police department, and that's also my understanding why the city was became a city in the first place, was so that we would have a police department, and it's certainly a privilege and an honor to have that staff working for us. In the same breath, I'd also like to commend the staff for bringing about the Wildwood sprucing up. It looks 100% better with the islands and stuff trimmed back, and I appreciate that. I had other item I had was for the police chief, which just on the bluffs. Looked like they were having a lot of disturbances, but we can ask him that later. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think city manager, was it the church group organization that came and helped with the medians? Who was it that?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't know exactly, but I got a message saying that, but no contact information as to taking credit for it. So.
Okay, well, the citizens that came and helped, I want to thank the staff, but I also want to thank the citizens that came and volunteered and helped. It's greatly appreciated. And along that line, I'd also like to thank Nick for the display on Veterans Day. That was greatly appreciated and it looked great as usual. So we have no further questions. Are there any hands raised for questions for staff?
Currently, there are no hands raised.
And no emails?
And there's no email comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This is a bizarrely short meeting, so now we're on to council reports. So are there any council reports? Councilmember Wilson?
Yes, I have a HWMA meeting we had last Thursday. Yeah, I guess it was last Thursday. And a couple of the items that were brought up, it was one of these long 3.5 hour meetings that they do. And 2.5 of that was for CRV, which seems to dominate every time we meet is a CRV meeting. This time they had some other people from the industry, and they gave us more information than we had gotten in the past. One of which is that the state does pay back to the recycler of recycling money that they give out, which was not previously reported to us accurately. And they also came to an idea. We were trying to do a pilot program, and the state Cal Recycle told Supervisor Bone one thing and told Executive Director Duffy another thing. And then in the meantime, they awarded the pilot program to someone else. So that kind of ended that project. And the way it currently stands is there's no plan to open up CRV in Humboldt County in the near, probably for a long time, to purchase back your CRV. The other item they told us about, gave us a forewarning, was that as of January the 1st, treated wood, like pressure treated lumber, will be considered hazardous waste by the state of California. So it can't be accepted at the HWMA or at the transfer stations. Can't go into green waste. If they see it, they'll reject it, and you're going to have to deal with it yourself. And the third item is the Director Duffy officially announced her resignation, that she's going to be resigning. And we're in the process of recruiting a new executive director, and she's going to stay on until we do that. Other than that, I have nothing else to report.
Thank you. Councilmember Johnson?
No report, Mayor Garnes.
Thank you. Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Woodall? Give her a second to get unmuted. She's almost here. I can feel it. Okay, well, I'll speak and then maybe we'll come back to Julie and see if she's there.
Okay. Can you hear
Julie?
me?
I can, yay. There you are.
Oh, well, I couldn't hear you until the last thing that you said. It was a big
Oh,
silence.
okay.
So, okay. The only thing to mention is that tomorrow we have the nuisance abatement committee meeting at 3:00. And if anybody's listening that would like to call in and make a public comment, you can call the office and they will give you the phone number and the ID number, and you can call in to make comments or go ahead and listen to the meeting. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just wanted to point out that Humboldt County was raised to the second tier of the COVID situation. Our numbers have jumped considerably, and we actually jumped 2 levels at one time from medium or low risk rather to significant. So we just need to continue wearing our masks. That's one of the mandates is when you're outside, wear your masks, maintain our social distancing, keep that up, and limit our gatherings indoors, and just do everything possible to keep this thing under control in Humboldt County, because we don't have a lot of hospital space. And so we want to keep what we have open for hopefully things other than COVID. So that's what I want to say. I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And I wanted to thank staff for everything that they've done. I want to thank staff for all of the work that was put in for the road works. I think we are making strides, and I look forward to, moving forward on that. So thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving. And is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved by Johnson.
We have a motion. I'll second it. We have a motion and a second. Good night, everybody.
Good.